U.S. car imports are now facing major hurdles due to President Trump's tariff measures. Right now, around 37,000 vehicles are stuck at American ports. The slowdown has started. Container bookings from China to the U.S. have dropped by nearly 50%. Financial analysts are raising concerns about the growing trade conflict ignited by the new tariff strategy. It all began quietly. No sirens, no breaking headlines, just names disappearing from shipping manifests, one by one, then by the dozens. And by the time policymakers in Washington noticed, the consequences were already sweeping through ports, railways, and deep into the arteries of global trade. As of June 9, 2025, 7 major international ports have canceled planned shipments coming from the U.S. Entire cargo loads, agriculture, electronics, car parts, and consumer goods have been stopped, redirected, or outright turned away. But this wasn't caused by natural events or a cyber attack. It was a result of tariffs and retaliation. This isn't a simple supply chain hiccup. It's politics weaponized into economic disruption. At the Port of Los Angeles, the data speaks volumes. 10 vessel arrivals expected in the first 2 weeks of June were canceled outright, with no replacements scheduled. That actually exceeds the total number of cancellations the port experienced during all of 2024. And, it's not limited to LA. Long Beach, Oakland, Savannah, and New Jersey are also facing a wave of blank sailings. Some ships from Asia are even turning back mid-route. Before we go further, don't forget to like the video. It helps us fight the algorithm and keeps content like this coming. But it's not just about missing shipments. It's also about what's no longer leaving American shores. In response, China has begun sourcing agricultural goods elsewhere, particularly from Brazil. Soybeans, once a top export from West Coast ports, are now being loaded onto ships in South America instead. California's once bustling grain terminals have gone quiet. An agriculture analyst summed it up plainly. A 10% Chinese tariff on U.S. crops is enough to grind exports to a halt. And this is just the beginning. Major shipping lines, MSC Costco Ocean Network Express, have already halted at least 6 weekly routes between Asia and the U.S. These lines used to carry over 25,000 40-foot containers each week. That space, now gone. Removed from schedules, no return date in sight. They call them blank sailings, but to businesses across the U.S., it means this: critical goods are no longer in transit. Blank sailings hit a record high in early May. Nearly 1/4 of all planned trans-Pacific journeys were canceled, and honestly, that figure has only grown. For importers, it means late arrivals. For exporters, it's orders without transport. Ports now face unused cranes and empty docks. And for the broader economy, the hit doesn't stem from recession. It comes from trade retaliation. This is what a modern-day tariff war looks like, playing out in real time. On May 2nd, China revoked its tariff exemption for small-value air shipments. Air cargo from China and Hong Kong to the United States dropped over 1/4 in just a few days. Direct flights carrying electronics, clothes, and compact machinery vanished. E-commerce vendors were forced to delay or cancel deliveries, causing product shortages for American retailers. This isn't theory, it's happening now, and it's, worsening. What makes this crisis unique is not just the volume of disruptions, it's the coordination behind them. Ports in Asia, North America, and even Europe are actively adjusting their schedules to reduce their exposure to United States-bound cargo. Fewer bookings, fewer containers, less movement. And in logistics, less movement means less income, reduced staffing, and shaken confidence. Shipping companies are reacting the only way they can, by cutting back, fewer ships, fewer routes, and those that still operate are now sailing at far less than capacity. American exporters are watching their contracts evaporate. Shipments of grain, poultry, and chemical products, once steady, are now sitting idle. Some are being rerouted through Canada or Mexico to avoid tariffs. Others are just scrapped entirely. California's soybean trade with China has essentially collapsed. It's not slowing, it's stopped. Brazil now owns that lane. And U.S. producers already battling rising production costs now face a market that has vanished overnight. And it's not just farms. In the Midwest, heavy machinery manufacturers are seeing their orders stall. Equipment meant for export is stuck in warehouses, waiting for a shipping lane that may never reopen. Shipments of steel meant for overseas clients are now being rerouted, some postponed with no clear timeline, others offloaded at a loss to domestic buyers just to clear backlogged inventory. The impact is wide-reaching. Rail shipments are slowing, trucking demand is falling, and warehouses are piling up with goods that simply aren't moving. This supply gridlock is now seeping into the broader economy. Retailers are starting to see inventory shortages. Electronics producers are reporting delays in key parts, forcing them to halt production lines. Auto parts suppliers are flagging incoming shortages. And behind all of it, inflation is creeping in, not due to booming demand, but because the supply is being choked off. As one analyst put it bluntly, we're not just short on parts, we're short on pathways. This is the moment where tariffs stop being just political tactics and start reshaping the global map. On the consumer level, the effects are becoming visible. Longer wait times for electronics, higher prices on imports, and less availability in everyday categories like tools, appliances, and car accessories. These aren't luxury goods, they're daily essentials. And with every shipment that gets canceled, the pressure builds. What was once a talking point on news panels, the trade war, is now being felt in grocery aisles, hardware stores, and auto repair shops. Prices are ticking upward, product ranges are shrinking, and customers are asking what's going on. The answer is straightforward. The flow stopped. And it stopped because global partners are reacting to a strategy that's lost its predictability. China has gone beyond tit-for-tat tariffs. They're now using license delays, customs slow-walking, and regulatory bottlenecks to disrupt U.S. supply chains. In Southeast Asia, U.S.-bound containers are being quietly deprioritized. In Europe, terminals are stalling clearance times. And here at home, U.S. ports are reducing labor hours as incoming traffic slows. This isn't a passing disruption. This is a systemic realignment. And it's not the first time the world has had to shift. After the 1970s oil embargo, global logistics were re-engineered from scratch. Following the 2008 financial collapse, the system compressed under strain. During the 2020 pandemic, supply lines snapped under the double pressure of demand spikes and mobility limits. But this time, it's different. This isn't caused by nature or accident. This is a man-made blockade, built from retaliatory policy and fractured trust. And unlike earlier crises, there's no obvious end. No vaccine, no stimulus recovery, just more politics, more leverage, and more economic risk. For small businesses, that risk is existential. Across the country, thousands of essential retailers, from furniture stores to auto lots, can no longer predict what inventory will arrive, when it'll show up, or what the final price will. Business owners are now quoting customers 3 different pricing models. One assuming no tariffs, one if tariffs hit mid-shipment, and another if the delivery is canceled altogether. That level of uncertainty is gutting business confidence. Planning timelines are shrinking, hiring is frozen, and growth plans are being scrapped. The middle class is feeling the squeeze. When shipping stalls, prices go up. When prices rise, credit card debt climbs. And when wages can't keep up, budgets tighten. A missed vacation becomes a missed dentist visit. A delayed appliance upgrade becomes a safety risk on the road. These are not abstract warnings, they're already happening. And with freight volumes plummeting, logistics firms are now bracing for layoffs. FedEx, UPS, and regional shippers have quietly signaled staff reductions in their freight operations. Trucking companies are pulling routes. Dispatching software is flagging lower load counts, and chassis suppliers are saying unused inventory is now back to levels last seen during the peak of the pandemic. And yet, there is no roadmap to fix it. The tariffs stand, retaliation continues, shipping lines shift, and consumers bear the brunt. What comes next isn't about diplomacy anymore. It's about supply chains. And the key question isn't whether the system will adapt, but how much damage will occur in the process. This isn't just a story about ships, it's a story about store shelves. If you found this analysis helpful, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. And drop a comment. What part of this global shipping fallout surprised you the most?